Welcome back to the Flogsville podcast. It is, of course, the round 8 wrap. Apologies for my voice. It's just, it's struggling at the minute, but we'll push through. And joining me this evening, we've got coach of the Rabbitohs, Daniel. Hello, mate.
Yeah, hello, Scott. Hopefully, the voice survives through the night and we don't have one of those Luke Darcy sort of calls where it all just goes a bit haywire at the end.
Oh, look, not putting it past it, to be honest. It's been a big day of sport today. Anglican Cup, of course. Woodcroft doing very well and winning, but yeah, lots of talking with the girls' basketball team. So not ideal, but we bring in the Guns N' Roses head coach Ben after 2 really strong weeks. He's bouncing back. Hello, mate.
Good evening, sir. Apologies for the voice, but yeah, take some of that water and we'll be right. So, good to be here.
Beautiful, mate. Let's get into it, boys, because it was, again, bloody high-scoring round. We started with dunks Friday night, and then it just rolled on. Tom Green, Tim English, Andy Brayshaw, real throwback to last year, his 150-odd. So it was unbelievable. And then Sunday afternoon, speaking just before the podcast, Rabs and I, just that game was horrific. But if you own Jack Siebel, it was the only positive watching that. It was just a train wreck. So lots of points, lots of seagulling from him. But we'll move on to our pick of the week. And it was, well, let's just talk about this matchup, I think, because it was a cracking matchup. Both teams, my God, your Liberatore, again with pick of the week. This is number 4 of the past 5, something like that, something ridiculous. Just getting the job done against your boys, Ben. Let's talk about Hugh first, and then we'll mention your boys, because you guys had a smashing week, pretty much 100 points better than the rest. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, pretty rare. Yeah, that happening, I guess. Huey, on his side, he brought in 2 of my uniques in Wilday and Fiorini for Setterfield and Stocker, which ironically, if you kept those trades, you would have passed 2,500. So Stocker, you mentioned that game, Scotty. Yeah, not quite sure what's happening Sunday afternoon, but plenty of chip marks and plenty of points. So, but yeah, obviously Huey, we mentioned him, heaps of times this year. He's looking good up towards the 200s now. And yeah, some really nice moves. He's only, blemish would be trade Chandler on field there for a 37. So, even if that's a 60 or so, he's going 2,500 and pumping out a massive one. So, well-deserved winner this week. Yeah, bit stiff, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, two massive scores to say the least, and yeah, both teams, when you have a look through, picking up most of those sort of big players. I think there are about 5 players that went over 150. I think it was over the weekend, and I think you guys have got all of them apart from Brayshaw off the top of my head. So not a surprise to see those massive scores, and yeah, still some room for improvement on both sides really when you look at Chandler on field and also Philippou on field for yourself there, Ben. So yeah, still ominous signs for both of those teams.
Oh, absolutely. Both teams flying. Zach Butters on Sunday, Ben. We were there at the game, and we sort of noted his performance. First quarter, he was getting in good spots, but he just wasn't being used. But after that, he was sensational, really, and that would have been a tough watch for you.
Tough watch considering I had his previous number on my Guernsey sitting there as well. So I think this sort of game really exemplifies what Butters has been about. 2 shit quarters and 2 unbelievable quarters, and going off with what looked like a knee or something at one stage. So everything. But for Huey, he posted a nice score, and really it was him that got him over the line on Sunday, because finally for the first time in 8 weeks, Nick Dacos got some attention and didn't really ruin me. So I was stoked with Ryan Clark's work there, but not to be, unfortunately.
Not to be. All right. Let's move to our spud of the week, boys. And it was unfortunately the Glen Mountain Fan Club going down with a 2004. Just looking at his side, boys, just missing out on some of those big boys' scores. Apart from Tim English and Adam Chera going big, not too many others in Sean's side this week.
No, it's just disappointing for Sean. I think we've always noted that he's gone a little bit lateral with selections, and I think that unfortunately weeks like this might sort of bite him a little bit. And weirdly, he can often peak in some of the weeks where other teams struggle a little bit more because he has gone a little bit more lateral. But yeah, those boys just not working for him this week with LDU, who's come up quite a bit throughout this year. Jordan to go 60. I did get a birthday message from Sean. He did tell me how much of a bargain Hayden Perryman was, and we saw why, pumping out 78. So, yeah, a little bit disappointing for Sean, and probably a few too many rookies still on field at the moment. And yeah, it's probably seen him with 2,000, probably stiff to be spud with 2,000, but yeah, some big scores this week.
Yeah, no doubt he'd be disappointed with that, just cracking the ton, but 2,000, sorry. But yeah, one of the lowest scoring matchups this week with Dale only going 2,100 and getting a win. So you have to be fortunate to who you play each week. But I did see the coach of the Glen Mountains on Saturday morning, just out walking the dog with the assistant coach as I was driving by on my bike, and gave him a quick down. And yeah, he was a little bit stressed about team selection. So it's no surprise that he came away with this result, unfortunately, this week.
Very good intel, mate. We love those little squirts that you provide. Let's go to our next matchup. And once again, my goodness, this Hoppleberry FC, lots of activity in the chat. Had the Josh Dunkley VC, just Heels and Surge had the VC this week. Just a real throwback. Again, I say it every week. It's just that Friday night game. You don't have to do it, but credit to him. Credit to him, he did pump out a 170 odd. He was sensational, but it was McRae just getting the job done here, boys. Talk us through this highly eventful matchup.
Yes, lots of anticipation in this one, and we enjoy that sort of content from both coaches leading into it. I think, yeah, Andy Brayshaw's return to form has been coming for Sam, and he would have been obviously pleased with that because, to be honest, apart from that, the rest of them were standard or subpar, really. So to only win by 26 points, it has to be said, Serge's trade-in of Petrarca for 80, it would have been for 110 minimum in that matchup, and that's cost him the matchup. So obviously it would have been really enjoyable if he had kept the captaincy on him. He would have lost by heaps. So yeah, high scoring week, but yeah, Sam probably just kicking away with one there.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of chat about the mega alpha inclusion, and I think there was even some surprise. I think I put up the GIF about Christian Petrarca at the same time as Serge, and he was seemingly bemused about how it worked it out. Well, he'd given about 35 clues to that stage about who it was, so I think most people have probably caught on. But yeah, as you said, 80. Really, really unfortunate because he's had a really good opportunity to win this game. When you have a look through with Sicily as well with 70 and Setterfield not going to what he has at other times. So yeah, disappointing result for Serge because it was one of those ones that he could have stolen. And yeah, Sam would be happy to take away the win from that one.
Yeah, absolutely, boys. Just a quick one on Setterfield. Yeah, being at the game on the weekend there, Ben, I'm sure you'll agree with this. He was just either on the wing or down back when Ridley went out. So it's just not that inside midfield role, which was, yeah, what he was doing early in the season, what Essendon were doing really well. So, yeah, for owners there, that's a concern going forward. Nice to see Errol go big, boys. Nice to see him finally sort of get that ceiling score that we saw in the preseason. So happy days there. We'll move on. It was King Kunta with the 21.42 going down with the Burtons flying 2,300 this week, 23.56. Brad just keeps ticking along, boys.
Yeah, really good score for Brad when you have a look through his side because, yes, he's cashed in on a few of those big boys, but he's got a few that haven't really gone very well at all. And Josh Rochelle stands out with 27 when you look through. So to be carrying a couple of scores like that, as well as Pedler on field and having Oliver as captain, which for probably one of the rare times this year wasn't the best option. To get a score like 23.56 is really imposing from Brad's side. So he's definitely going to be around the mark as he has been a number of other years. And on King Kunta's side, probably just a few too many, I don't even want to say rookies, but just a few too many of those medium prices that aren't quite getting the job done like Newcomb and Mitchell. And, of course, the Lizard, as we've said before.
Yeah, really honest, I think, for Brad. 5 on the trot, looking really good and still room for improvement. So what I'm enjoying is the first sighting of the pastor in his midfield. I think. So, no, he's rolling nicely.
All right, let's move on to our next matchup, boys. It was phenomenal. Just getting the job done against Team Golden Child. A better week from Team Golden Child. We've been calling for some improved results and a little bit better for Zach this week. Talk us through, boys, because I haven't had a chance to look at this one. Was it down to coaching error on Zach's part, or was it just phenomenal being too good this week?
This would have really flipped the script, I think. This, the odds we would have given this matchup last week to be within 18 points. I'm sure Tom wouldn't have, would have had a few sweats on Sunday afternoon, especially watching Jack Zeeble as a unique, do whatever he wanted in the whole game, really. It's pretty unfortunate, really, for Zach. Noah Anderson, a nice unique in his midfield there, going 130, and unfortunately, your man, Scotty, Van Rooyen, on field against 40. If he could manage to get that to a 60 somehow, he wins this matchup. So I don't want to say coaching error, but he's used the vice captaincy loophole well again early in the round. So we enjoy that sort of attention to detail. But one he could have easily won, I think, looking at this.
Yeah, totally agree. I think Mason Wood, too, is probably one that he'd be disappointed with a 67, particularly coming up against North Melbourne. You probably would have penciled in for a few more. But, for Fenno, probably one of those wins that he'd be happy just to get away with. A little bit like North Melbourne St Kilda. One you're not going to celebrate too hard, but you just roll on with. But those types of wins are really season-defining, because if he drops a game like that, that could be really, really costly, and he's snuck home. So an important win.
Absolutely. I think, for Fenno, we've mentioned Setterfield already, but Finn Callahan, he was not looking good at halftime. He just always finds a way just to get towards a 70 sort of score. Like, it's not pleasant viewing, that's for sure. So good to see the Rat in Team GC, Ben. You'd love that.
I love that inclusion, as you would know, Scotty, if we get to it. But, just slithering around at the back there, get some cheapies. We enjoy that work.
All right, let's talk about your matchup, Rabs. A big win against the Smiths Crips this week. What went well for you this weekend?
Well, I don't want to oversell this, Scotty, but this is one of the great miracles of all time. I don't know if many people have actually studied this matchup, but
No.
I even wrote down some stats about this. So going into Sunday, I had literally stopped viewing it because I trailed by 487 points. And I had Todd Goldstein, Liam Stocker, Errol Gordon, Jack Zeeble, and LDU as pods. And Liam had Rowan Marshall as captain. And I've turned a 487-point deficit into a 55-point win. Thanks largely to the work of Errol, Jack Zeeble, and Liam Stocker. And ironically, Davies Uniac, who I probably would have penciled in for maybe one of the possibilities for the highest score, I think had the lowest out of that group. So, very conflicted watching North Melbourne St Kilda, because at times I thought it was absolutely horrific, and other times I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing from a positive perspective with Liam Stocker and Jack Zeeble just kicking into each other. So, very lucky, got to be honest, to win that game. So not a lot else to say, really. Liam, I think, deserved to win, but the Ryan Marshall, just the complete irony of Ryan Marshall getting injured as his captain, and then Todd Goldstein being my ruckman rocking against Machito Owens for the whole last quarter. I couldn't believe my eyes.
It's a true fairy tale, really. It's similar to what happened Dale against me a couple of weeks ago, charging back with a big lead. Liam Stocker, wow, that's more together in about 3 weeks, I think, isn't it? So he's he's come through for the goods at the right time. But for Liam to have English and Green go 150 plus as uniques and not win, that's really hurting. So doesn't hurt him too much in the ladder. He's still sitting nice in 6th, but one I'm sure he'll be ruining.
Yeah, it's one of those tough ones with the Sam Walsh BC 109. If that's all of a sudden 111 or over that 110 mark, you take that every day of the week. Yeah, so feel for Liam there, but huge for you, Rabs. Amazing stuff. Love that. So let's move on, boys, to our next matchup. Oh, gee, this was a fairy tale as well. What a disaster this looked like. Total Eclipse of the Heart, VC on dunks. I managed to scrape over the line by 7 points, despite the pod of Tom Green and Mr. Brayshaw deciding to do something this year really set me back. And I again on Sunday, I didn't really have much. Yeah, I didn't really have any players on Sunday, so I just didn't really pay much attention. And I saw once my captaincy score had gone through, I was 7 points up with no players left. So yeah, it's one of those wins. You just take it. It wasn't a good week for my boys, but yeah, we'll try and get better.
I think for you, Scotty, we caught up at halftime in the Port game, and fair to say you weren't overly confident with how it was tracking. And then, yeah, for Butters to go down injured on 97, I think it was, and then he came back and you win by 7. That's miraculous stuff. So, yeah, one of those you need to just win and move on, as we've said a few times tonight. But yeah, a missed opportunity for Hills. He could have, really got one that he shouldn't have.
And I think just worth noting on Hills' side, there has been a lot of commentary in the podcast around some lack of movement, and we definitely saw some movement. And that started with the disappearance of Charlie Constable, who's been a walk-up start for Total Eclipse of the Heart. So it's pleasing to see that. And yeah, very, very tight result there, Scotty. So as we said earlier, one of those important wins for you as the season rolls on.
Yeah, we'll take it and move on to our next match. That's for sure. Just a quick one. We spoke a little bit about the B Sharps. I suppose they got the win up against the Glen Mountain Fan Club, and we've spoken about the Liberatores and your matchup, Ben. So shall we just move on to the Keys, going down to the Crouching Lions? Nice score by Brett this week, getting in the 2300s. What did you see here, boys, with this matchup?
Yeah, I think captaincy choice has had a fair impact on this, and I don't think it's the only thing. But yeah, Tim English with the C, any captaincy score over 300, you're going to be stiff to go down. So that's had a fair impact, I think, on Jake's side. As I've said a few times, probably just carrying a few too many rookies with Ginby, Chandler, and also McAvee, however you say that, on field. So yeah, still room for improvement for Jake, but yeah, very important win for the Crouching Lions. We've sort of been monitoring them throughout the year, probably just with a little bit more of a watch than we've seen in the last couple of years. And yeah, wins like this, very, very important to make sure that they're still on track for where they normally end up.
Yeah, surmised it beautifully. Just interesting to know that these two teams spot ladder positions, so that puts Brett in the 8 and Jake just outside. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be back with vengeance, Jake.
Absolutely. Good to see Mitch Duncan score more than 60 for Brett there. And also, yeah, Zach Merritt, watching him live, he just, has that about him. He just finds the pill at will and just sort of walks around and has a great leg on him too. So I know that doesn't count much, but he's just a good player to watch. Let's get into this round, boys. Round 9. My goodness, it's flying. We've got Armacrae up against the Burtons. What a matchup, boys. Let's spend some time on this one because it's worth it, I reckon.
Yeah, former work colleagues. We know this is always a bit of a rivalry, and we enjoy what happens here. But the Fremantle and Sydney game is going to be a big one by looking at this with 3 Freo and a Sydney unique, and Brad having a few on his side as well. Just
Come in, Ben.
We've lost Ben momentarily. We'll just keep talking about this matchup. Rabs, what do you see in this one?
Well, it's obviously a tough game to process, as we've seen there, Scotty. No, I do think this is probably match of the round. I haven't actually looked at any of the other matches yet, but it does appear as though it'll be quite a good one. So, I mean, two teams that are going to be around the mark. I don't know. I'm probably slightly leaning towards the Burtons. Just having a look through those pods, I think Timmy English is a massive pod, and Josh Rochelle pumped out a really disappointing score for him on the weekend, but you would have thought he would improve from that. But having said that, Yeah, they're two strong teams for a reason. So it's going to be tight, but I think Brad might have the goods in this one.
Yeah, it will be an interesting one. I think good for Sam that Callum Mills last week back into that midfield. So that's good signs going forward. But yeah, Brad just looking, Tim English is just, he's had one score under 100. He's just sensational. So we'll move on to our next matchup. It is, another big one. Hoffleberry FC up against Phenomenal this week. Really tasty matchup. Let's dive into this one, boys.
Do you want to start, Ben? I think you're still talking about the last game.
Wow, I know we were in the sticks down here. I didn't know it was that bad. But sorry, where are we up to? Hoffleberry. We'll try this again. A bit of a grudge match again between these two. We've been enjoying Serge's work lately, but it should be a pretty even game, I think, looking at this. Pretty pivotal, I think. Obviously Tom's rolling well, but this is one of the fixtures he'd be penciling in, I think. So probably have to favour the fellow at Penong Street, but could be either way this one.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think when you have a quick look through the pods, though, it's a little bit surprising. I did expect to probably see a little bit more of a discrepancy between the two sides. And when you have a look through it, I think there's good reason to think this one will be quite close. Noticing that too, Stewart is not a pod for Fenno. That's I think it'll be quite tight. I think you probably lean towards Fenno, but the trade table could be quite important with this because there's probably not a lot between these two sides at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and just those rookies, Drury on field for Serge and Philippou. See what Tom can do, whether he does move a rookie or if Finn Callahan maybe is one to go. But I think it's the big dogs, Petrarca and Oliver, both against Hawthorn. I think that'll go a long way into deciding this matchup. And we'll see what Zeeble can do against Port Adelaide because it's down in Tassie. That could be interesting. Port are typically a little bit harder to score against, but if North Melbourne play that little chip mark stuff, anything could happen, as we know, which is bizarre that they continue to play that way. But I'm not an expert. Let's move on. It'd be nice if they, try to win or do something exciting, but that's okay. It's good for fantasy. King Kunta up against Smith's Cripps, boys. Do we expect Liam to bounce back here?
Yeah, I think we do. When you have a look through those pods, I think there's quite a difference between these two sides at the moment. And I think Liam will win this one pretty comfortably.
Yeah, completely agree.
Beautiful. Let's move on. I'm up against Team GC, so this will be a cracking matchup. Looking forward to this one, boys. What do we see here? There's going to be a few pods. Let's have a look through them. What do you guys notice about this matchup?
We do notice there are a few pods off the side. Josh Dacos, new name to the GC team. I'll be honest, I've not tracked him at all this year, so really fitting the criteria for the GCs. That's that sort of selection. But no, I think you should be pretty comfortable here, Scotty, assuming teams are friendly. Some big uniques coming home there. Bontempelli and Cogs and Kelly. So you'll be taking home the chocolates.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'll be too strong there, Scott. And just a quick sort of statistical analysis. Josh Dacos with a 73 last week. And just a former player, just a bit of a watch for Team GC. But Harris Andrews with a 69 last week. So great number, as we know. But just only the 4-point improvement really for Josh Dacos. So hopefully things are on the improve though for Team GC. A better score on the weekend.
Yeah, hopefully. I think Friday night's going to be pivotal for this matchup. Of course, we've got a bit of a doubleheader Friday night. We've got Richmond and Geelong, so you've got Baker and Stewart involved, and then it's West Coast, Gold Coast. The way the Gold Coast Suns are playing at the moment, Noah Anderson could do anything. The Rat could sniff around the Optus Stadium there and get a few +6s. So, a little bit, that'll be a big thing Friday night, I think, and I'm hoping that the pastor can do something similar. Same with Jaden Hunt, who's been a pretty good pickup for me the 4 or 5 weeks I've had him. So, he's made some good cash. So, that's been an unlikely selection that's actually been okay. We'll go into that one against Team GC. with I want to actually score a bit better this week. That would be nice. Let's go Rabbitohs. You boys are playing the B Sharps, Daniel. What do we see happening here, mate?
Oh, well, hopefully we'll win. We'll wait and see. You've got a pretty tough run coming after this. I think we've got Crouching Lions and then the Liberatores in the 2 games after that. So, pretty important game to hopefully get a victory. But, it would be interesting to see what happens at the trade table. But, hopefully we might get the job done.
Yeah, lost the play out here with the Kangaroos boys. The trio there for you there, Ravs, with LDU, Big Donny Goldstein won the clock back, and our man Jay-Z. So I think they'll get off to a reasonable start. You'll come home. I think you'll take it pretty comfortably.
Yeah, tend to agree there. I think Big Todd Goldstein could be good in Tassie against, Teakle, who's been giving up a fair bit at the moment, and Port's, ruck lineup. So good signs there for you, Rabs, I think, this weekend. All right, Ben, your matchup, you're playing Total Eclipse of the Heart this week. In some good form last couple of weeks, bouncing back up the rankings and up the ladder too. What's your thoughts ahead of this weekend?
Yeah, going reasonably confident, I guess, based on the last couple of weeks. Continuing to be aggressive at the team selection at this stage, assuming nothing goes wrong. So a potential another unique from a high scoring team, hopefully. Hopefully, having no rookie uniques will go in my favour, which I really need at 2 and 6. So have to win this.
Yeah, interesting having a look. Probably less, like some other matchups, probably less pods than I would have envisaged. But yeah, I think your boys will probably be a little bit too strong. But yeah, Nick Dacos is a pod against you again, Ben, which has been a pretty common theme. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, I think your boys should get the job done. Jake Henderson, a new name there, I think, just on quick glimpse.
Yeah, very new as of last week. Thanks, Cade. Hey, Chandler, for your role and move on. So,
no, very good. Yeah, Nick Dacos, the Giants and Collingwood. That last game is going to be pretty important, I think. And yeah, will you be tuning into that one, mate?
I can't wait to not watch that one, Scott.
All right, let's move on, boys. We've got 2 matchups to go. Not long left on the clock. The Glen Mountain Fan Club up against the Crouching Lions. What do we see happening here, boys? Very quickly.
I think the Crouching Lions you'd have to favour in this one. Lots of pods in this one as opposed to some other games, but very common when teams come up against Sean that that's the case. But as we've said, Sean's side has often been a bit of a yo-yo, so a dangerous opponent because if he has a few of those guys go off, then he can be a tricky one. But I think the Crouching Lions might be a little bit too strong.
Yeah, I think Brett having Dawson and Laird playing against the Builder on Sunday, that could finish him off quite nicely. So I have to put back him in.
Beautiful, boys. Well, we've got, my God, your Liberatore flying, Hughes team, flying up the ranks. We know that. Up against the Keys, let's have a look at these pods, boys, because there's some pods on either side, and I don't mind the look for Jake here, but it's hard to go past Hugh looking at his names there. My goodness.
Yeah, hard to go past him, and you'd probably have to back him. But in saying that, there's some favourable matchups for Jake. Melbourne, they tend to give up a bit of defenders. Mills looks like he's resumed that inside role, and Clayton Ola against the Hawks, as you said before, Scotty. So, between those 3 and Cornelio, hopefully some ceiling scores for Jake. But you have to have your money at the Liberatores.
Yeah, totally agree. I think, another one of those ones where when you look through the pods, you probably make more of an argument for Jake than what you would have thought before looking at them. But I think, Hugh should win.
Oh, beautiful work, boys. That just about does it. Any last words on this week's pod? We've got, a few seconds remaining here. Anything going forward?
No, I don't think so. Videos and social media episodes. So good luck to all. Hopefully another high scoring week.
Yes, absolutely. And hopefully teams are kind to us and maybe Jacob Van Rooyen gets off. We'll see. we'll see. Nice green dot there would be good. All right, boys. Good luck on the weekend. Enjoy. See you later.